Hello, checking in with chapters 25 to 30 of Lady Anna by Anthony Trollope. That's my glowy bracelet there. Um, yes, so in this section, Daniel Thwaite, his father has died. We kind of have last words of just, the old man is just like, it's not really what you should be doing, but you do what you do. He dies, and Daniel Thwaite doesn't have really anyone to kind of talk to about it. So he ends up going to a very old family friend, who she only know himself in youth, a Keswick poet, um, who basically kind of, it boils down to, well, I don't think someone of lower station should marry a lady. And he says, like, and when he kind of criticizes him on that, he says, well, I believe in one Lord, and that Lord uh, deemed to create men in different degrees, which Daniel Thwaite says, or was it the devil who did that? And that is indeed, that's sort of the question. I think it gets that question that will continue to get asked, even though our lords and ladies are done. We still have class, we still have divisions in our society. Not as probably as hard as the English caste system, but they're definitely still there, and people definitely are still governing their lives by them. So that happens. We get a lot of the court case in this thing, where they still go ahead with the court case because it's sort of like they need to kind of protect. They need to protect the Lord and the lady's kind of position in a way. Like they need it to be decided by court, especially with an outstanding, perhaps, claim by a lady in Italian lady, or ladies in Italy, who might start making claims to the money part of the estate, which would be bad. So they set that up in court, where um, they stand up, and it's basically like, I think it was Sir Williams. It's just like, we freely accept that they accept that Lady Anna is Lady Anna, but they say we need to, as you just said, need to get this decided. And he goes on. Daniel Thwaite is one of the men there. Also, the Reverend Lovell, both of whom really disapprove of the speech, but for very different reasons. Reverend Lovell, because he wanted them to fight the whole thing about Lady Anna and still brand them as uh, as con artists, as somebody who's trying to pull something over. On Daniel's side, it's like, well, they don't mention my father at all, who is the one who actually supported uh, the Countess and Lady Anna through all of this. It's not so much for himself that he feels the hurt, but it's for his father, who his now late father. And indeed, Sir William afterwards learns about the bill, because that bill does get kind of, it's like, I think you probably owe my father's estate, and the Countess, true to form, regardless, does write up a bill for it and sends it off and says, like, I'd like this to get settled quickly. And of course, the lawyer's like, oh, well, big stuff. We don't settle quickly, which is kind of hilarious in itself. Lawyers are much more eager to settle small things than they are to settle big things. Um, but with Sir William, when he hears this, is like, oh, I wish I had known that beforehand, because I would have mentioned it, because that's obviously, this is the one friend that the Countess actually had through all this. And that a meager tailor is the one who actually fought for her, when all these other kind of high people didn't, is, does say something. um and it's interesting, because, like, the book, in some ways kind of looks down on Daniel Thwaite. It patronizes him while presenting his point of view. It still patronizes him, of like, oh, well, he's such a radical, and he's so much like, the lords and stuff like that, like, them and themselves are not anything especially great. And they say, like, which is like, yes, you have somebody like the Earl, who is just a fucking complete waste of space human being, but you also have many of the high officials of government who are genuine servants to the country, who are also that maybe leaving aside that it's their wealth and position that at least gave them the opportunity to do that, whereas maybe equally able and men who would be equally happy to serve the country um, don't have that opportunity because they didn't have the money to do that. So, you know, it patronizes them while still giving you enough kind of wiggle room to kind of go, I side more with Daniel Thwaite on all this stuff. And this section ends with the lawyers going, sending off two lawyers sending off. One's a very short letter saying, like, yeah, we owe you money and it should be settled immediately. The other one saying, decrying what he's done and saying, like, if you expect to get your money, you should withdraw. You should withdraw your terrible suit. And it's like, it's a real fuck you kind of letter. Because that particular lawyer wants to really wants to fight it and does not share Sir William, the Solicitor General's point of view that Daniel's actually quite a decent, good fellow, and that there's actually a bit of romance here of, like, of a young, valorous guy who's kind of fighting for his lady, whether he be a tailor or not. So yeah. Still really, really, really enjoying Daniel Thwaite. I really like Daniel Thwaite in all this, even though I don't think the book is always as much on his side, and definitely having these kind of good humored, having the Sir William, this Solicitor General kind of figure who is sort of sympathetic towards him is sort of an interesting choice on Trollope's part. He's the Whig, he's the middle way, I guess, which I rather suspect is where Trollope himself falls. He's not a radical. He's not an arch conservative. He's that mushy liberal in between, small L liberal in between. The compromise, the temperate compromise of English society, I guess, or I can see that why that Trollope kind of taps so well into that zeitgeist. Though actually, I guess he didn't with this book. In this book, he got a little too radical. Maybe give Daniel a little too much time, a little bit too much free voicing of his opinions, and that just unsettled people too much. So that is my check-in for Lady Anna, chapters 25 to 30, and we will continue. More videos later.